This game available in Espanol. Use the SAP function on your remote to listen to Juan and Billy. On this final weekend, part of our story, of course, is a review of 2005 for the Mets. Should be a winning season. With more on that, let's go down to Matty.
All right, Ted, and the Mets are hoping to end this season on a bright note, perhaps pick up all 3 wins against Colorado in the remaining games and finish the season with 84 victories. For Willie Randolph, he's waited a long time for an opportunity to manage, and as he wraps up his first season as a manager in the major leagues, I got his reaction to his rookie year.
It's been a blast. It really has. I mean, you know, I didn't know what to expect going in. I had a feel of what I want to do and how things might go. But this whole year has been it's been quicker than I thought it would be. But it's been a great education for me. I've learned a lot about the game. I learned a lot about my players, obviously, and I'm looking forward to next year. I really am. I mean, you know, we feel like we've done some things as a group, as a unit. And I think that, you know, the feel we have going into next year is very strong and very positive. And I believe we're going to make some moves and get stronger as a team. But, you know, I'm an energy guy. So even though I'm sure I'll crash when it's all over, you know, I'll really kind of feel it. But right now, the adrenaline and the energy and the momentum we built to this point still feels good to me. And we're looking forward to winning a couple more games and then going home and relaxing a little bit.
That's our Dodge quote book. And Ted, if the Mets do win these 3 games, what it will mean is there'll only have been 4 teams in 2005 in the National League to have won more games than the New York Mets.
Well, the thing that Willie pointed out there that has been so evident lately is the energy. This team's playing with some spirit and some life here down the stretch. Obviously, they wish there were a little more importance to these games, but given the fact that hasn't been the case, at least they're playing with an energy and a life that they haven't seen the last couple of Septembers. So that credit to Willie Randolph and this team as the Rockies tonight. A little more front line lineup out there. Todd Helton returns. He'll play first base and bat third. Corey Sullivan is in center field tonight. Brad Hoff plays right field.
There you see Chris Benson's Rico numbers, 27 starts, a record of 9-8, a 4.20 ERA, and Ralph, kind of the biggest thing is he stayed healthy most of the year.
And that's one thing that's very important in the game of baseball today is stay healthy.
Well, Benson trying to snap a slide. He has not won a game in his last 7 starts. Chris's last victory was August 16th here against Pittsburgh. Since then, 4 losses and 3 no decisions. 6 1/3 in Washington in his last start, giving up 5 runs. Facing left-handed batting Corey Sullivan. Rockies have been throwing a bunch of different bodies out in center field since the trade of Preston Wilson. So 1-1 now, the Benson fastball. Let's see how slight a build Sullivan is, and that's the question that seems to surround him. Getting the pop in that bat. Benson is 7 starts. Has really had 1 start that you would consider a good one. That was Florida here on September 20th. 7 innings, gave up only 4 hits and 2 runs, but took a no decision.
Benson features a good slider. And the one thing about him, he has given up a lot of home runs. He's given up 23.
And he's about the only Met pitcher out there you can say that the home run has hurt him this year among the starters. Met starters were pretty good in that category.
One thing about the Colorado team is that they played well enough at home, but very poorly on the road, and not only this year, but in their history. That is one thing they're going to have to figure out some way. Play better on the road.
Fastball in, so count stays, or count rather is 2-2 to Sullivan. Well, I tell you, that is the mystery, Ralph. This franchise, they This is their 13th season now, Colorado finishing, and they just cannot yet settle on the equation to best produce a winning team there.
They have hit 300 at home and way down around 200 on the road.
Defensively, for the Mets behind Chris Benson. David right now 100 RBIs at third base. The rest of the infield, you got Reyes, Cairo, and Jacobs. Floyd, Beltran, Anderson in the outfield. How about David Wright? 158 started third base this season. Ralph, he did admit to me before the ball game in an interview that he did bounce up against the wall occasionally this year, and as soon as the season's over, he's going to take a couple weeks off and then bang into the weight room and start hitting and throwing again. You know, it's a year-round deal. Now, you know, Ewing Kauffman, who was the owner of the Kansas City Royals when I played there, one time mentioned, the players were appalled by it. He said, this should be a 12-month job for the players. You got to play every single month. Nobody could believe it. You know what? Now they are. They're playing and also working out the rest of the year. So David Wright will work out hard at the end of the season to get even better. How about that guy? Jose Reyes said the same thing to me today.
One thing about baseball today, they are in shape year-round. In the old days, they would take off in the winter, put on weight, not work out. A few of them did. A Ty Cobb, for example, would climb around with leather shoes in the mountains to keep in shape. But very few of the old-time players stayed in shape year-round.
How about Tom Glavine, 39 years old? He'll be working out to stay in shape. I'll bet you he'll play 4 or 5 more years.
I believe that. He certainly has put on a good finish this year.
He feels terrific about what has gone on lately with, you know, changing things on the mound, and has been successful.
All pitchers lose their ability to throw the ball hard as they get older, and they have to come up with other pitches. Warren Spahn, one of the great ones of all time, went to the slider and threw a lot more breaking balls as he played in the major leagues in his last years. Won more games than the left-hand pitcher in the history of the game.
We'll take a look at our Hyundai keys to the game. Chris Benson must find the corners again. And Cliff Floyd set things up for Floyd tonight. We'll see Cliff Floyd get up there where David Wright is with 100 RBIs. Cliff Floyd now with 97.
Yes, 3 games to get those other 3 RBIs, get to that 100 mark. He's had a great year as a home run hitter as far as he's concerned, his career high.
Still playing. That's the other big thing. First time Cliff's seen the end of the season on the field as a Met in 3 years.
And you can really give the credit to that to the manager of the Mets.
He'd be foolish to get out of the lineup with 97 RBIs.
And you saw Helton leading the league in on-base percentage. Helton having another good year in relative anonymity with this struggling team.
He has hit .353 at home, and on the road he's hit .217.
That's the first time in his career it's really happened. He has been the one player, to see where he ranks in doubles, extra base hits in Coors Field are a lock. But he's been the one guy through the Rockies history that has not been that kind of hitter. Every other guy they had pretty much was a home dominant hitter. For him, it's just this is that first year. Low. The 2 best examples are probably Dante Bichette and Vinny Castilla.
Yes, he has had all kinds of records as a third baseman.
Playing there.
Playing there. And playing away, no way.
And when Bichette left the ball club, he went all the way to the Little Leagues, the World Series, that is. Coached his son's team this year.
Helton drives one out there. And Cliff Floyd makes the catch. So Sullivan still has to hold it first with 2 down. And this will bring in Matt Holliday. He had one of the 2 hits off Glavine last night. Also
And
struck out twice.
He has done exceptionally well in September. 30 runs batted in and batted .311.
Tom Glavine can relax the last 3 games of the season, knowing that he had a second half that's going to make his winter much nicer. Chris Benson, who had the strong finish last year that got him the contract, 3-year contract he signed, he's trying to make sure that this last start that he can get something to feel better about, get to 10 wins.
Take a look at this last pitch right here. Fastball, that's a strike. And it's funny, when the season's over, Ralph, as you know, of course you had magnificent years, but if you have a so-so year, the thing you remember most is that last game, how you ended the season.
He carried that for 5 months.
With optimism that there was a good finish.
It really makes the winter a lot more enjoyable when you finish well.
Hey, how about the national anthem today? Lynn Carey, our buddy, Broadway star, movie star. What a voice he has. Terrific rendition.
And what an actor. And also, he is a tremendous baseball fan.
Yeah.
Born in Canada. Holidays hit well for the Rockies. 308 batting average, 18 home runs, and that good September.
Well, that's a pitch that Glavine ate him up with last night. Piazza goes back and gets Benson to throw a slider down and away. Holiday chases.
Come on, Ray.
Well, Shea Stadium on this final Friday night of the year. We'll have another night game tomorrow, and then the season finale Sunday afternoon. As Jose Reyes stands in to face Young Hyun Kim. The familiar yet highly unorthodox delivery.
There's the recall numbers for the right-hander. Opponents have adjusted. They're batting .274. Jose Reyes told me before the ball game he'll take some time off. He might play a little winter ball if they need him in the Dominican. He won't play the whole season. He'll be in and out of New York, spending a lot of time in this area.
And he will lead the league in 3 base hits and stolen bases.
He said he wants to get a couple of those tonight.
Well, you got to get on some way.
Can you steal first?
Haven't been figured out yet.
A lot of things have changed in baseball, but that hasn't.
This has been Reyes's weak spot as a leadoff hitter. He's not done well leading off the game. It's something Willie Randolph talked with Jose about earlier this year. For the season, he's got a .258 on base leading off the game, which is the lowest in the majors.
And the one thing that he does, though, when he gets on base, it's almost like getting a 2-base hit with this stolen base.
Yeah. But it also probably, well, it may indicate that a guy who is an aggressive swinger like Reyes, when he hasn't seen a pitcher much, doesn't see a pitcher that first time, he may not fare as well as he does that second time and third time. 3-2 now.
One thing about hitting against a pitcher like Kim is that it's really easier to find the ball when you're a left-hand batter. And you see the ball early and you can hit it over.
Popped up by Reyes. Holiday there. So a 7-pitch at bat. Reyes finally out as the 8-pitch rather at bat. Will be followed by Anderson and Beltran. It's actually the same lineup the Mets used last night when Mike Piazza hit his 397th career home.
Defensively for those Rockies, there it is right there. Elton Gonzalez, Arms, Atkins, Holiday, Sullivan, Hop. Bob behind the plate. That was quick.
So Marlon Anderson continuing his turn here in right field against right-hand pitcher. As Kim comes inside. BK Kim, he has no problem being referred to that way. Of course, well known for his role as a closer in Arizona for the Diamondbacks team that wound up winning the World Series in '01, even though he had those horrific late game meltdowns at Yankee Stadium.
Well, he had two of them that really hurt Arizona.
Kim then went on. He went to Boston, now back here to Colorado. He started the year in the bullpen. And that's hammered for a base hit.
2001 World Series, you're going to see the right-hander against the Yankees in back-to-back games. And right there, Martinez going deep. And here's Brocious. So that was something else, because as Ralph mentioned, right-handers should have trouble with this guy. And that's usually, now you can tell from that body language, that was a bad move.
He didn't like that pitch.
So think about that. His team had those two devastating losses, yet they came back and won the series, and they beat the game's premier closer. They didn't exactly hammer him, but they did win the game against Rivera in the 7th game.
There was a throw in there by Rivera that set it up for the base hit by Gonzalez that won the game.
I think that ball should have been caught.
Well,
that throwing area you're talking about?
I would say yes. For the second base was not easy to catch, but made a big difference. But Johnson and Schilling were the ones that closed out the Yankees. No longer there. Schilling might get a chance in this series with the Red Sox.
Carlos thought high, but Bruce Streckman said strike.
Carlos 0 for 4 in last night's ball game, and he pulls that pitch way foul. When the batter hits a ball that foul, he has been completely fooled.
Foul away to the left, and we'll make you see it's fooled by location or fooled by speed, or both.
I think by both, but not a good swing at all, and he should see the ball well against Kim. That's one thing about sidearm pitchers. Left-hand batters have a real field day in most cases.
And this year it's been the case. 303. Lefties are hitting off Kim. 247 righties. Base hit with Anderson running, and Marlin will go to third.
That ball was hit well, and he saw it well. And that's the kind of base hitting that the Mets need from Beltran.
And left-handers tonight to get this submarine pitcher out of the ball game. You'll hear from right-handers. They'll tell the lefties to get him. Panasonic digital replay shows a very comfortable swing by Beltran, who would be very comfortable against that type of delivery.
So the 4th straight left-hander to face Kim is Floyd at the top of the order.
And Floyd, a home run here, would have 100 runs batted in. Interesting thing about baseball, you have 3 symbols in the game, and one is batting average at 300 and over, home runs at say 30 and over, and runs batted in at 100 and over.
That's hammered out by the Gold Glove first baseman, and Helton's going to try for a most unusual double play, and he's safe. He never tagged him. Anderson barreled into Ardois, who caught the ball, but he never tagged Anderson.
You know, I've never seen that. I've never seen a catcher get hit from behind, and the runner was called safe at the plate. I'm telling you, Ralph, have you ever seen this? Take a look at it again now. Helton I'll tell you, he made a mistake. He threw that ball third base, but the ball got to the catcher in time. And how about that? Have you ever seen a runner hit a catcher in his back and be called safe at home plate because the catcher didn't tag the runner?
He got hit hard there, and he never did make the tag.
Well, watch the other part about the replay. We won't see it there, but if you see a replay again, Garrett Atkins could have done with that ball what so many players do when they throw to first base. Marlon Anderson was 5 feet in fair territory. If he hits him with the throw, the umpires have to call Anderson.
I'll tell you what, I have never seen the bang at the plate, the back of the catcher. And the runner then was safe.
Reyes again with his speed, making it impossible for the catcher to make that play. Look at that.
That was a handcuff job right there.
That play was so unusual, I don't even know how to score it.
I don't know how they scored it.
It's an out for Floyd. I don't know if they gave an error at all.
Watch it. Here, Marlon Anderson, the baseline. Now, see that the ball hits him.
He's out. He should be out.
He should be out. Now, look at this. He goes back. Now, he hits home, and he goes after the catcher and gets him in the back. If he goes to the other side of the plate, he's able to tag him.
It's hard wide. That was a good play by Bruce Dreckman right there to see it. There was contact. Catcher held the ball, but they're gonna have, there's never a tag.
They're going to have to put equipment on the catcher's back as you look at take 5 again.
Head on to your New York Lottery retailer for your chance to win the New York Lottery Take 5.
So far, no error has been charged in that play. They got the out at first base.
So it's a 3 unassisted fielder's choice, and therefore an RBI, I assume, for Floyd.
Last night, Reyes came out of the baseline, and he's out for running away from the tag there and going off the baseline.
Yeah, different circumstance here. Wright takes a walk. Reyes was avoiding a tag, which is an automatic out. Anderson's not automatically out, obviously, but if the throw hit him, the umpire should call it.
Well, on that play, if it stays like it's been scored, no error. That's a run better than
should be an RBI, wouldn't it? They're saying no RBI.
They are saying no RBI, so there has to be an error there.
So here's Piazza, who has never had a hit off Kent. 0 for 6 highlights again how much tougher it is for a right-hander.
And they're going to say it's a fielder's choice, no error, and no run batted in. It's a tough scoring play.
Looks one foul out of play.
Well, Mike Piazza in last night's ball game, our Coors Light Gold Blast, and Ralph, he hit this ball a ton.
Got it all, and that was a home run to give Piazza 19 home runs in the year.
It was 450 feet is the announced distance of that. Mike found out today he's still playing with a broken bone in his hand. He had an x-ray today after the ball. They had him picked, but David Wright got back. Anyway, Piazza went for an x-ray today. And the ball that hit him on his hand in Philadelphia the night, his hand swelled up. Well, it's broken again, that little bone. And it's not going to heal until there's just a lot of rest for it. But Mike's going to play these final games out here, withstand the pain. Holiday there to make the catch. So the Mets get one in the lead in the first. So while we move to the second inning at Shea with Garrett Atkins to lead off. I have no idea what the explanation was, but we've been told the scorer is determined by scoring rules, no RBI for Floyd on that play. So it's only significant because Floyd has 97. And Atkins with a ground out. Right throws him out, one away. they'll bring in Brad Hawk. Any other games going on that mean anything tonight, by the way? Just somebody alert me if we have anything. Oh, sorry. Gosh, Pittsburgh got 3 in the first over Milwaukee. Thank you, guys. I'm nervous there for a second.
Philadelphia's all tied up in Washington at 1. Red Sox, Yanks all tied at 1. White Sox and Cleveland, no score.
And Hawk with a solid single to center, 1 out in the second inning.
Chicago Cubs at Houston later on. So if the Phillies took a big lead, it would put a lot of pressure on Houston. If they didn't, there'd be no well, there still be pressure in Houston as we look at that base hit, Ralph, a bullet. That's our Panasonic Ideas for Life digital replay.
And that base hit coming off a fastball. 2 fastballs for base hits.
Now Luis Gonzalez. Well, the play we had here at the plate in the first inning. Collision at the plate was a little bit like the play that ended the game in Houston last night. When the Cubs gunned down the tying run. Houston had a hitter. Scott, who got a base hit, started celebrating on his way to first base. He thought he had tied the game, but the Cubs executed a relay throw to the plate perfectly and gunned down the tie. Ball and kick foul. Phillies stayed alive with that. Phillies have John Liebert, or excuse me, Corey Light is pitching tonight in Washington against Livan Hernandez.
Hernandez with a good year for the Nationals. Led the club in victories and pitched well for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Tough way for them to end the season, though, because they're still in limbo. Manager, general manager, a lot of the people who work there have no idea if they'll be back next year because of the fact that baseball still has not determined an owner for the team.
They have 9 candidates that want to buy the club, and the price of the club has increased tremendously with the performance of the ball club. Went up about $50 million.
Middle Cairo. Reyes, double play. Nicely done. Started on the backhand by Miguel Cairo. So Mike Jacobs starts the bottom of the second for the Mets.
Mike has had a great start in the major leagues. Hit home runs in his first 4 games. Has a total of 9 home runs. If we project that to 500 at-bats, he would have had 45 home runs this year. Some start for a young ball player coming from Double-A baseball.
Nice catch. Let's do the glove. I like that.
9 home runs and 90 at-bats. And normally a player in a full season playing every day would have somewhere around 500 to 550 at-bats. That projects to 45 home runs.
We were in Washington last weekend. The Nationals have young man Ryan Zimmerman. They're breaking in at third base. He had back-to-back 3-hit games against the Mets. So, of course, the press was all agog over Zimmerman, and Frank went into his post-game press conference. Like the first 4 questions were about Zimmerman. He said, "Anybody have anything else to ask other than our first ballot Hall of Famer?" So, yes, the temptation is there to get a little giddy over a small sample of work.
Well, he does have a nice swing. By the way, so does Zimmerman, but takes a while to get in the hall. Look at that drive. It's our subway drive of the game, or cut of the game, I believe, Ralph. Right in front of that Banco Popular sign out there in right field.
Cut of the game. Subway and Mike Jacobs last night won 4 home runs hit by the Mets. Hey, the New York hot pastrami sandwich from Subway restaurants is there for a limited time only. Subway, eat fresh. Cairo and then Benson the foul. Jacobs has had a couple of nice swings recently where he's taken balls and gone the other way for hits. There he's been out ahead of balls tapping and foul.
He's pulling that ball foul because of his inside, but he can see that ball in a hurry off this sidearm right-hander. That was close.
Well, that was good spot. Kim staring in, hoping for the pitcher's call here. Catcher set up. You see, that's a great shot. The catcher set up off the plate. It's not on the corner. And Jacobs dumps one. Right field corner, carrying, and gone! Jacobs with his 10th. A 9-pitch at bat ends with Jacobs doing the thing he has shown time and time again. He can hit the ball down.
What a great swing. And once again, Jacobs goes deep. His 10th home run of the season. Just think, Ralph, going through the winter, the Mets can focus on him and put him out there at first base next year.
Well, you said it right the first time. You said this guy might be the first baseman without the Mets spending money.
Right. Could be a huge break for the Mets. They can focus their money on something else. Here's that swing. Look at this golf. Whoa, what a swing.
Right there.
Great extension. He drives that ball over the wall. He told me he doesn't want to catch it anymore. He wants to play first base. And you know why? You stay
That's
strong.
a good reason.
You stay strong. So Mike Jacobs impressing everybody.
That was not an uppercut swing, was it, Ralph?
Not at all. He was on the plane of that ball, and as you said, Ted, he likes that ball down.
Oh my gosh, does he know how to lift it? Wow.
You know, most left-hand batters are low ball hitters.
You throw a ball down to that kid, you're throwing it at your risk. He knows how to handle that.
He can elevate that ball that's down, and that's one of the keys to being an outstanding home run hitter.
Chopped up the middle by Cairo. Barmes with the play. One down. Well, the Mets have hit with some power this year. And they're getting an unexpected add-on here with the September power of Jacobs.
The last hitter that I can remember the Mets brought up in September that lit it up like Jacobs, without the home runs, Greg Jeffries.
Greg Jeffries, a kind of versatile player for the New York Mets, went to the Philadelphia Phillies and became a pretty good ball player. His idol, amazingly, was Ty Cobb, whom he never saw play. He could read, though, because the numbers that put up were pretty good.
But Mike Jacobs has been so impressive with the long ball and even spraying the ball left field. He's hit the ball hard to left field.
I'm going to go back, Ralph, for you for another name. This guy didn't necessarily do it with power, but boy, did he come up in a great hitting streak as a Met. Mike Vail, 30 years ago.
One time he held the Mets record for hitting in 23 consecutive games.
And he did that in August and September of '75.
One time he showed up late at the ballpark in Cincinnati. Cincinnati was on the same time as New York. His excuse for being late, he said the time changes are pretty fooling me.
That's a little foul. There's a guy enjoying the feeling that this rookie has. I mean, this is just beyond what you could dream of. Benson takes strike 3.
Well, next week they drop the puck for real, so individual tickets for the New York Rangers are on sale now. Visit NewYorkRangers.com, the Garden box office, or call Ticketmaster at 212-307-7171. New team, new rules. The new era starts now.
Reyes now second time looking at Kim, although he did see 8 pitches in the first inning before flying out.
Reyes was 2 for 5 in last night's ball game.
All right.
No stolen bases.
3 games left. After this, Reyes will need 14 at-bats for 700, which is, you know, it's obviously a statement that you play every day. It's also an oddity because the only way you get 700 at-bats is if you never walk.
Don't walk, that's for sure. But that's a lot of official at-bats.
But the best part for the Mets is that this kid, after 2 years of in and out leg problems, there's been not a hint of anything this year. And it's been one of the great strengths that the Mets have shown this year. Frontline players playing. Throws out Reyes. The Mets start the inning with Mike Jacobs' 10th home run of his rookie season. And the Mets have a 2-0 lead. So we go to the 3rd inning at Shea on this final Friday night. Mike Jacobs with his 10th home run of the season, giving the Mets a 2-0 lead. And something overlooked about, maybe overlooked by Jacobs. Unlike Jose Reyes and David Wright, who both got called up and played enough games, Mike Jacobs is still, next year, would be a rookie, technically. He will not reach the at-bat level, which is 130, to lose your rookie status. So it's a pretty good way to set yourself up, isn't it? Assuming, of course, that he's in the big leagues next year, but he would technically be a rookie.
He'd like to throw those home runs to next year and see if they could get him some votes. What do you think, Ralph?
Well, he'd love to be the Rookie of the Year next year because that would mean that he has saved the major leagues.
He does have a beautiful swing. I mentioned Tom Robson in the year 2000 throughout the Met organization, examined all the swings, digitally examined all the swings of all the players, and a young kid in the low minor leagues had the best looking swing, Mike Jacobs. Keep in mind they had Alfonso. They had a lot of good players on that team.
So that's now the 2-0 count on Kim.
Kim, a 083 header lifetime, and falling behind 2-0, gets a strike right there. Infield is playing shallow with the exception of the second baseman, and the outfield very shallow.
Liner right to Jacobs.
And a reminder, the New York Mets Foundation is pleased to join former player Todd Zeile in a special fundraising event to benefit the victims of Hurricane Katrina. The event features the New York premiere of the movie Dirty Deeds, the first film to be produced by Todd's Film Production Company, and a post-premiere reception. Celebrities expected to attend include Zeile, David Wright, Cliff Lloyd, and more. Tickets are $200 each. For more information, please call 718-559-3154.
Todd Zeile with a home run, his final at bat for the New York Mets. Now he's going to be in the picture movie business.
The key is he got it produced. They filmed it, and they didn't have somebody to distribute. He's got distribution outlet. He's set to go. That's Dirty Deeds. Todd Zeile.
I know, Ralph. You start talking about motion picture business, I may start asking you some questions tonight.
No answer.
It's a perfect night.
I did make a few trips to the Sunset Strip, I'll tell you that.
I missed that chapter in baseball forever.
had a good reason because of Bing Crosby being a owner of the Pittsburgh Pirates, and Bing set me up a few times.
Wow.
Now we're getting somewhere.
What do you mean by set you up?
Got me an invitation to go to the movies.
Oh,
okay.
Now, did you ever have a setup date, for example, for publicity?
Sure.
Did you feel you were being used by the starlets?
Not one bit. I liked it.
He's an animal.
2-2 now to Sullivan. Fouls it back.
One thing about going to see Bing make a picture in on the set, he had a big, great canvas drop, and when he wasn't in the picture and wasn't acting and waiting for his part to be put in the action, he would hit golf balls against that canvas and inside the studio. And he was a great golfer.
What about the starlets? More about that when we come back.
1-2-3 inning for Benson. The ball to Marlon Anderson starting the bottom of the third. Mets with 2-0 lead, and they've made B.K. Kim throw 55 pitches already. And Anderson hits a long one to right. That's going to go foul. Sending back in the Loge.
You know, it's funny, that uppercut swing right there from Marlon Anderson. You go back to the home run by Mike Jacobs, and you think of the influence that Chipper Jones has had on Mike Jacobs. He loved his swing, so he kind of imitated, or at least a foot tap. He imitated that with Chipper Jones, and he's really put on a show since coming to the big leagues. Chipper would be proud of him.
One thing about Chipper Jones, and he's been a great player for Atlanta, he was a better hitter as a left-hand batter. He got to be a good hitter as a right-hand batter through the coaching of Don Baylor.
Yeah, by the way, Philadelphia has taken a 2-run lead. They're up 3-1 over Washington.
The ball to Gonzalez at second. Marlon Anderson out.
Houston has yet to start their ball game in Houston. The Yankees losing to the Red Sox now 2-1, and the White Sox in Cleveland, no score.
David Wells, a left-hand pitcher, pitching against the Yankees in that game tonight. And one thing, very few left-hand pitchers have done well in Fenway. Mel Parnell was probably the best in this era.
Mel Parnell from New Orleans, Louisiana.
Another pretty good pitcher that was left-handed. A little bit eccentric. Bill Lee.
Yeah, he won, I think he won 20 games up there, but he was in the high teens with wins.
I think he was the guy that said he put marijuana in his Wheaties.
That was it. He also drove Don Zimmer out of his mind.
I guess so.
I guess that was not Breakfast of Champions, huh?
Ralph?
I think the thing that set Frank Sinatra up was he said he ate Wheaties all the time. I used to get a case of Wheaties for every home run I hit.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
So
I couldn't get my car in the garage.
So your teammates loved you, huh? You must have passed
No,
them
that was
all
fun, the company.
Yeah, but you must have passed them out.
Oh, yeah.
Did you like him?
Yeah, I did, as a matter of fact.
Still eat him?
Yes.
You still eat him? That's terrific.
If I didn't like him, I still would have eaten him.
Now you can't beat Wheaties.
Inside nails Floyd.
I'll tell you one thing about Cliff. When he gets hit any place, it's usually the legs.
That was a breaking ball.
Yeah, but it still hurts.
Oh, it really hurts. There's no question about that.
It's a 74-mile-an-hour frisbee from Kim.
Take a look at this frisbee again. Look at that. Oh, did it get any bone? Nah.
On 5.
Yeah, no big deal, huh?
That's a bruise.
We can say that up here. You'd be limping down to first base if we were down there.
It's the 11th time that Floyd's been hit by a pitch this year. And amazingly, Craig Biggio does not lead the league.
But he has set a new record for being hit by pitches.
But the guy who's been hit the most this year, Jose Guillen of Washington, 19. I think the Mets contributed a little bit to that.
Pedro used him as one of those dolls in an amusement park. Hit Guillen, get a teddy bear.
David Wright hitting with 2 outs here. Floyd at first. Wright starting tonight, 9th in the league in hitting. Tied for 10th in RBIs. 8th in total bases. 5th in doubles. So the point that he has reached the elite in a lot of the big offensive categories.
David Wright has hit 5 home runs in his last 7 days.
That's a nice way to finish, isn't it?
That's a good way to finish.
When you're worried, and it's an obvious worry with a player like Wright, you get down to this point of the season, he's never played this many games in a year. You wonder if it will show in his performance. And for a while early in September, it looked like it might, but boy, is he finishing strong.
But he said it, his batting average is not what he wanted it in September. He felt he ran into that proverbial wall in September. He still has hit the long ball. We mentioned 26 home runs, 100 RBIs. Of course, he wants that coveted 300 batting average.
Well, he's got that.
It's a foul.
Came into this game hitting .307, and he won't have enough at bats. He won't all for the rest of the season.
How about him, though? He said he'd take a week or 2 off and then right back into working out. He has a, there's that 307 batting average. He has a trainer. He also takes advice from the Mets trainers. And he lifts weights. He's very concerned with his nutrition. Imagine being concerned with your nutrition at 22 years old.
Well, we know about him as where he eats at night, anyway.
Yes, we do. Parkside.
Parkside, and that's something I never saw a ball player do. We were in there having dinner, and he was there, and we said hello, and that was it. And he was with his brother, and we asked for the bill to be paid and go out. They said it's been picked up by David Wright.
Well, we can't be bought, but he's got my vote for the Hall of Fame.
And there's a swing and a miss on a funky pitch outside. Wright goes down on strikes with play 3 at Shea. 2-0 Mets.
Matt Loughlin back at Shea Stadium on a Friday evening. Willie Randolph wrapping up his first season as manager of the Mets. Came into the spring. The players didn't know him. He didn't know the players. But now a year under his belt. And so I asked him before the start of tonight's game what that means moving forward.
The foundation, I think, in some cases has been laid. We tried to establish that this year. But, you know, I'm sure we're going to be better next year. I know we are, because, you know, they have a better sense of what I want, which direction we're going in as a team, offensively and defensively. And for us, more than anything, offensively, I think that next year is going to be better, because we're hopefully going to make some changes, some switches in our personnel. The main nucleus is going to be here, but they'll have a better feel of what I want from them. And we are going to hit it harder in spring training, you know, from day one, doing the things we're capable of doing, the things that we want to try to implement. So the players, I think they can see that we're trying to go to the next level. I think in some cases you take those little baby steps, you move up the ladder, but you also make sure you understand that it's all about winning, and that we're here to get to that point, that you know, having a nice year, you know, a little 500 is really nice, but we're here to win ball games, and I'm not going to settle, and we're not going to settle for anything less than that, and is winning a championship eventually.
And you've really said that from day one. This is all about winning, and you have a championship pedigree. You've been a winner wherever you've been. How hard, though, is it to balance? We're out here to win, but not everybody can win every year, and when you're trying to build something, it might not be this year. How hard is it personally to deal with all that?
Well, it is difficult, because you want to push, you want to make sure that you make sure that they understand that we can't, you know, feel like, where we want to be. You can have success. You can take baby steps, like I mentioned earlier, but you still have to make sure that you're patient. But patience is something that will come when you start to really see the fruits of what you're bearing for the most part. So I look at my guys and I sometimes push them a little hard, but I do want them to understand for the most part that if they just stay consistent, continue to play the way we want to play, that we will get to where we want to go.
That's tonight's Dodge quote book. Fellas, one other thing that Willie said is that he wants to see the team hit a little better situationally next year. He said there were opportunities to move guys over. They failed to do that, didn't bunt as well as he would like. A little bit more fundamental approach to hitting. Back upstairs.
Well, Barmas with the ground out. Now Helton fouls one back out of play.
I think he's done a wonderful job in his first year as a manager. I mean, he's installed that attitude that he had, and he has been excellent.
He's handled players very well, and he has a pretty good bond with Jose Reyes at shortstop. He and Sandy Alomar, they pat him on the back, they praise him, they love him, and they also, if he does something they don't like, they immediately address it. He told the players early this year in spring training, he said, listen, I'm going to talk to you a lot. If you're thin-skinned, you're going to hate me.
I loved his comment about not being satisfied with 5 or a game or two over. That's not what he's in this for. 22 now to help. Benson runs that fastball away.
Well, Helton has had quite a career. He was a football player at the University of Tennessee, and he was replaced at quarterback by a fellow named Peyton Manning.
I'd say they both made wise career choices, wouldn't you?
I'd say so.
Peyton Manning occasionally, when the Rockies, he goes out to Colorado, he takes batting practice with the Rockies.
And Helton also got married. You know where we went in his honeymoon? To a fantasy camp.
What kind of a fantasy?
No, I mean a baseball fantasy camp. He had his fantasy afterwards, though.
Oh, it's won a ton there. What foul? Let's hope so.
Player.
Let's hope so. That's the way it should be.
That's right. Love always wins out. That's why we have the kiss cam here at Shea. Start the night off. Very popular thing here at Shea, the kiss cam.
Holiday will be after Helton here in the 4th inning. Helton just wearing out Benson. There's another good grab.
Nice play.
I tell you, we have a very intelligent fan base here for this series. Lots of people with their gloves.
What do you think is more important to that baby? The bink or the ball?
I think he's a little young for the ball.
Yep, but nice play by Dad.
That's terrific.
He certainly was positioned correctly.
And Helton fouls, so this now will be at least a 10-pitch battle. Helton fly to left his first time. And finally takes the walk. 103 walks now drawn by Helton this year. Here's Aflac tonight, who led the Rockies in wins last season. And actually, I can tell you the answer is a former Met. But I still don't think that's going to captivate anybody.
Well, that stadium is tough to win in. There's no doubt about that. One no-hitter was pitched there by Nomo.
Well, there's more news in Washington tonight, where the Phillies have the lead over the Nationals. The Phillies scored 2 runs in the 3rd inning to take the lead, 3-1. Holiday drives one to left center. Good Floyd will have to play this. Well, we're going to play it after it clears the wall for a home run that ties the game. Line drive, home run for Matt Holliday, is 19th.
And Holliday now picks up a big 2-run RBI. And that gives him a pretty good month of September. 32 runs batted in.
So Benson had the long battle with Helton, which ended up with Helton reaching via the walk, and now Holliday follows with a home run. But the story in the Philadelphia-Washington game, in the 3rd inning, Jimmy Rollins led off with a base hit. He is now his hitting streak at 34 consecutive games. That's the ties Benito Santiago, the 4th longest hitting streak since 1950. Ball off of Cairo's glove, and Atkins will be on.
This ball hit hard to left center, and it clears over that left field fence.
The home run there out that you mentioned, once again back to bother Benson as he faces Hawk now with 1 out, runner at first.
He has now given up 24 home runs. Bert Blyleven, I believe, gave up 40 one year for the all-time record.
I think it was 50.
Was it?
I think it was 50.
At one time, Robin Roberts held that record at somewhere around 38.
Robin Roberts, a Hall of Famer, and Bert Blyleven belongs in the Hall of Fame, Ralph.
I think you're right. Great curveball.
Oh.
Wow. Ball ripped to the right field corner, and fortunately for the Mets, goes foul.
Well, I'll tell you, those balls are head to heart.
Ooh. Benson struggling after that long battle with Helton.
Ball was smoked. It just hooked it foul. The home run over left field fence was a frozen rope, and that one was too.
Bert Blyleven in 1986, pitching for Minnesota, gave up 50 home runs.
That's an all-time record.
And his record for the year, 17-14. Still a winning record. Oh, I'll tell you, this is just BP here. Wow.
Again, the fastball hit hard and pulled foul.
These balls are just rocketing. And fortunately for Benson, Hawk pulled 2 just foul.
Yeah, I might try something on speed outside right now.
I don't think that fastball is going to work, huh?
No. Plus, they're pulling it so fast and so foul. So you might as well try something. If you have a sinker, oh, they're going inside again. Oh, yes. Now, Ralph. Off-speed pitch outside. Get the ball and move away. Here's the heater inside.
Look at this. Can you believe all of those? Like 9 miles of foul home runs, and you get double play balls. That's living right. The Rockies get a 2-run shot from Matt Holliday to tie the game. A lot of the folks here at Shea now standing as Piazza gets introduced to lead off the 4th inning with that heavy metal theme that he accompanies him to home plate. He stole that right from you, didn't he, Ralph?
Yeah, that was my favorite song for a long time. Mike really is in the heavy metal stuff.
Ooh, Kim kind of a splinter that bat on a comeback.
You know what would have helped there? Heavy metal. And the handle. Mike Piazza has had just a terrific Hall of Fame career swinging the bat. He hit a ball 9 miles last night, but right here our Panasonic digital replay shows that Mike bounces the ball back and he gets severely jammed.
Has a total of 397 home runs, most by any catcher when you count the home runs he hit as a catcher.
Jacobs up the middle, base hit. A bouncing ball that found the hole. So if things are going well, that's what happens for him.
2 for 2, a long home run and a single right up the middle. Now we'll go back to that athletic trivia question. Who led the Colorado Rockies in wins last season?
Former Met.
We moved the question over to the left. Now move it back to the right.
Sean Estes, who pitched for the Mets.
Good curveball.
The Giants, Seattle.
Yep. Yeah, great curveball, really.
Went on to Arizona this year.
Boy, his great game was against the Yankees.
Hit a home run.
Hit a home run that game, too. Yeah.
That's why it's great.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny, Estes pitched a one-hitter here at Shea that year for the Mets.
I often wondered why he couldn't, be consistently in a 20-win column.
Ooh, double play ball is booted by Atkins, but he still gets Cairo at first.
Well, if he catches this ball, it's an easy double play. But no errors. You cannot anticipate a double play. I've never really understood that rule.
Because you could have anticipated a double play right there. I wonder who came up with that rule.
Well, it had to be Cartwright.
That's right. Alexander Cartwright. He was an engineer and a draftsman, and he came up with the 90 feet between bases.
Made the rules of baseball way back when. Went to the gold rush of 1849, ended up in Hawaii.
I thought you were going to tell us he ended up in Niagara Falls.
No.
Come on, Ben.
He went the other way to get to California.
Over Delahanty. Wow. Ended up in the drink.
Mysterious death.
Now to Benson.
One thing about hitting against a pitcher like him, you're going to get jammed a lot because you have to really hang in there against the curveball. And when he comes in with a fastball, you're trying to move for the curve and you get jammed.
Take another one.
He's a great pitcher. He's still alive. He's in his middle 90s. Eldon Ocker, who was really a submarine pitcher. He scraped his knuckles on the mound.
Strike.
Some good ball moving right there, Ralph.
Right on the outside part of the plate.
Oh, Kim He's inconsistent, obviously, with his release point has hurt him. And Hurdle shaking his head. And you look down, he's only got 2 walks tonight, but ends up going deeper in pitch counts than he should. So now he's got to face Reyes with 2 on and 2 out. Reyes would like to do some damage here.
One thing about when you throw down there underneath submarine, the ball sinks when it's a fastball.
Pulled foul.
Didn't sink.
That's a long way out.
Watch this. Hit me. Jose Reyes with that real quick swing. Pulled it foul.
Reyes starting tonight 5th in the league in hits at 187. And they're going to rule out a swing. Didn't even go to third base. It's just, this is just the way the game goes. You move that bat at all as a hitter, you're probably going to get run up.
From upstairs, you see that bat.
Well, he held up.
He held up. That's what umpires tend to do today.
Because of TV.
They just ring you up, keeps the game moving too. When they're all being judged on time of game.
Go! They could cut down the time of game by stop. You know, you throw around the horn. And out, the catcher catches the ball, throws around the horn. Just put it back to the pitcher. What do you think, Ralph? That's a revolutionary move.
Well, they have a lot of people that say they don't care how long the game is.
That's right. Doesn't bother me. How about you?
Well, they're working on trying to make the game shorter. And the one thing that would really shorten it up, and they do this in the minor leagues, they make the batters stay in the batter's box throughout the pitching.
Frank Robinson tried to get the players to do that when he was the disciplinarian czar of baseball. And supposedly the players promised him to do it, but they didn't.
Reyes pulls a foul. The people who do, and there are those in the game who say, what's wrong with the time of the game? When it's averaging 3 hours plus, and I ask those people, how many 3-hour movies you go watch?
How about the old days of the movies when they had double features?
How many movies do you go when you know the movie's 3 hours long?
I don't go.
Right.
You don't go 2 hours.
That's the point. Kim throws out Reyes. 2 Mariners left, and we'll go to the 5th with Shea even at 2. Will be Sunday at the Garden. Devils and Rangers will see it at 5 live on MSG. When the real deal gets going Wednesday night.
No more ties. Great rule change, Ralph.
It really is a big change. And they're trying to get more offense.
Maddie and I had lunch today with a couple gentlemen who bid as part of the Cheering for Children telethon we ran earlier in the season. And they're both big hockey fans, with big Devils fans. And they were unhappy with the shootout. They like ties. So I thought that was interesting because I'm a no-tie guy myself.
Yeah, we had, by the way, Cheering for Children, we had dinner last night, Ralph, with a couple of gentlemen who were big Ralph Kiner fans over at Parkside here in New York.
They were really strong baseball fans.
Oh, they did. They knew the game.
They were great.
So Cheering for Children has been very positive for a number of years, and once again they enjoyed a banner year.
And Jack said that he was the only one in that room that saw me hit a home run, which means he was older.
Juan takes a called strike. Benson would like to get through this inning with no harm, bottom of the order. And he surrendered the 2-run homer to Holiday to tie the game in the 4th. One and two.
This kid right here at the plate does the catching for the Rockies. Ardois, and He had a collision home plate tonight, which was very unusual. He blocked home plate backwards. Marlon Anderson went into him. His back was turned. Marlon made contact, then tagged home plate and was ruled safe. Very unusual play.
Well, the throw to the catcher was a throw he had to turn around to catch.
Backhand, David Wright to his feet. Throws to get him. Well done by David Wright.
Who said David Wright couldn't play third base early in the year, Ralph?
I'll tell you one thing about David Wright. He has great range. And he makes a wonderful stop there, a very accurate throw. And an outstanding play by someone you're going to watch for a long time and applaud. And that isn't because he bought us that meal either.
Yes, it is. He can play, but what a year he's had. He gives Met fans hope. So does Reyes, they're 22 years old.
So Kim at the plate here takes 2 quick strikes.
He lined out his first time up to first base. Hit the ball well.
Reyes gobbles that one up, so Benson just does the inning that he wants. 10 pitches, puts the side out in order. 2 games left here with the Rockies. Jay Soul pitch tomorrow night. Victor Zambrano on Sunday afternoon. As we look at things from our Delta Skycam. Finally, fall came today. Boy, does it ever. Starting to see some leaves turn. Going through the park today. Okay. That could be a bad case of hat here when Pedro takes that off, don't you think? So Marlon Anderson will start the last of the 5th tie game.
Well, Anderson, I'm sure this year when he came to the Mets, didn't think he'd play outfield. He's done a great job as a pinch hitter and has done a good job all the way around. Started his career with the Phillies.
And for all of the attention that front offices get for decisions involving frontline guys, the decisions on the Marlon Andersons and the Chris Woodwards can oftentimes be just as big. Marlon will be a free agent at the end of the year. He'll be a 6-year player. Chris Woodward will be just shy of 6 years. Service that I believe the Mets will control him again through arbitration. And these guys have been big parts of the Mets this year. It's the best. I gotta believe it's the best bench the Mets have had, I'm sure, since the 2000 season. And Lenny Harris, a big part of the Mets National League Championship.
Lenny Harris played with the Mets, and he is the all-time pinch hit leader, surpassing Manny Mota over years. Was the #1 pinch hitter with 130 pinch hits. But Harris has gone way by him. He's around 200, isn't he? I think he is.
He's well up there. This might be the end of the run for Harris. When in Florida. And Anderson takes also. Here again, Kim going deep with a hitter. Beltran and then Floyd. Oh, and Anderson hits one to the scoreboard. Mets have the lead on a bomb by Anderson. Anderson halfway up the big board and right. New York's other big board is the huge scoreboard here at Shea, and you hit that, you've done it. You've done yourself well when you hit it halfway up like Anderson did. That's a shot.
This is the 7th home run, and this was a monster home run. Look at that. Halfway up that scoreboard. This time, Randy can't say it went over the, and whatever the sign would be, against the numbers.
It went over the HIP sign and just below the Sheraton sign.
There you are.
To the right of the Banco Popular sign, just above that Geico sign.
Yeah, make the sponsors happy.
That's exactly right.
Didn't take out any lights.
Well, you like sponsors, Ralph.
You better believe it.
That's it.
Second home run in this game by the Mets. Mike Jacobs, a home run back in the second. His 10th of the year.
Whoa. Trying out on the ground ball.
Ball hit that hard, you're happy when it takes that comfortable hop.
So Cliff Floyd now will bat with one out. He's grounded out, been hit by a pitch.
There's that Red Sox game. Ted's got it out. Look at what's the score.
Well, I'm trying to find the. No, that's what I was trying to find right there. No, I'm trying to find the Milwaukee-Pittsburgh game. I've been gripped by that all night.
4-zip, by the way, Pittsburgh. Think Jim Lehman will take that job, Ralph? You're a former Bucko.
I would say he'd like to manage again. I don't know whether he wants to go back to Pittsburgh. He was an outstanding manager.
By the way, Houston on top of the Cubs 1-0. Look at this.
Cliff Floyd, right center field. Sullivan at the wall. Well, Cliff gets robbed by the big ballpark at Shea.
Did that ball clear the wall? I think he went up over the top of the wall to make the catch. Cliff thinks it's gone. I think the ball is gone. Let's see again.
Right at the top.
A little short.
But it's still about a 395-foot out, and that doesn't make a hitter happy. So David Wright with 2 down.
Chris Floyd in pursuit of 100 RBIs.
Should have hammered tonight. I would have given that fielder's choice a RBI. And he just missed one right there. Needs 3 to get the 100.
Kim's now over 100 pitches. You know, you leave Coors Field and you come to pitch in a ballpark like this. As a pitcher, I'm sure you would feel so confident you should just throw it over. And this is so much better to pitch it at home.
One thing about that Coors Field is the fact that the ball travels 11% farther. So that ball would have been a home run in Coors.
Dribbler up the third base line, and they will not get him. David Wright with a hit.
Helps that average. 307 come into tonight's game, Ralph.
And 1 for 2.
Now. 308 now.
He's up a point.
It is again. And you can see David Wright on first base with the base hit. 308 now.
Well, every day that Piazza comes to the plate. The fans there give him a well-deserved round of applause. He turned this franchise around for the New York Mets, and of course the people are talking about the fact that this will be his last year in the Met uniform.
Well, it's a love fest, and it had to be heightened by the newspapers this morning when Fred Wilpon's comments from yesterday were reported that certainly seemed to signify that this is going to be it for Mike as a Met. Ball fielded by Barmes for the fielder's choice. But the Mets take the lead on a long drive by Marlon Anderson. 3-2 Mets. So we go to the 6th inning here at Shea. The Mets have regained the lead as Benson faces Corey Sullivan, who takes a strike. Sullivan is singled and struck out. Houston has taken an early lead tonight on the Cubs 1-0, and Andy Pettitte, who's been Houston's best pitcher in the second half of the season, is on the mound. Skipping down at the feet of Sullivan, 2-2. Benson missed the first month, so he won't reach the inning mark that he did last year with the Mets, which was an even 200. Only twice in Benson's career has he pitched 200 innings.
It was a first-round draft choice of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Has never really lived up to the choice of Pittsburgh.
And he gets Sullivan here in a comebacker. So one down in the Rockies' 6th. Our Back to the Game is sponsored by Levitra of our Identical HCL. And it talks about, well, the Rockies. How about that? Since June 1st. I don't think you'll send any Christmas cards home about that one. 7 games under 500 does speak about the National League West, but Clint Hurdle done a good job of keeping the Rockies from falling apart after their horrendous start to the year. Get the facts about Levitra by visiting msg.levitra.com to learn about Levitra and a valuable offer.
Burns had a great start this year for the Rockies. It led the Major League rookies in batting, home runs, and runs batted in.
And this was a guy that they had pegged Ralph as a utility guy. That's the way they had him coming up through the system.
And he had a problem with deer meat and missed 3 bunts.
See, if he would just go vegetarian, he wouldn't have that problem.
There's another argument for that. Yeah. He was trying to carry a deer down the steps in his house. Or up. I'm not sure if it was down or up.
It was up. Down's easy.
He broke a collarbone.
Kelton with a 10-pitch at bat his last time, drew a walk, and then Matt Holliday followed with a home run. 2 strikes rather to Helton. The Rockies remarkably, they drew under $2 million this year. This is a franchise that was $4 million standard early on. With a home attendance this year that ended up at 1.9, there's some concern about where that their payroll may get cut again next year. And Helton alone takes up a huge chunk of their payroll.
They get rid of Helton, they'll go down to 1 million people.
They never have figured out a way to win on the road.
This is the 11th full season of the Colorado Rockies franchise. In the 11 full seasons, they've only had 3 winning years, and the winning years were 83, 83, and 82 wins. So 83-79 is their best full season record. The one year they made the playoffs in '95, that was a short year. They were 10 over, 77 and 67. There'll be no play there. Helton is on.
And we'll see whether they'll score that an error. I would say yes. Ball takes a bad hop right there, the proverbial half hop. And Spain scored an error.
So it'll give Holiday a chance with 2 down. Holiday 6'4", 225. He's a good baseball state, Oklahoma, where his dad was a successful college coach at Oklahoma State and at the University of Texas. Matt Holiday was a 2-sport player coming out of high school, football and baseball. Oklahoma State was going to give him the chance to play both, believe it or not. But he signed with the Rockies right out of high school. Drives this one to center field. Beltran there, and so the error doesn't hurt. Benson gets the 3rd out. 3-2 Mets as we go to the bottom 6 and take a look at our Jeep game summary.
Well, Jacobs, a solo home run, his 10th of the year. If you missed it, he hit it a ton. Holiday, a 2-run bullet, his 19th of the year over the left field fence. Marlon Anderson hit the ball off the scoreboard here. Jay Benson, 6 innings pitched. And the Mets need, well, they have a 1-run lead, but they need more runs, I believe. Ralph, what do you think?
Well, in this kind of a ball game, yeah, never get enough.
So Doug Minkiewicz trying to be Pedro's brother from a different mother, right? Minkiewicz trying to keep his humor here at the end of what's been a tough season for him. And now watching the last kid to take a spot. And Jacobs has taken it and held on. Home running a single tonight. Bouncing ball here that is played by Gonzalez for the out. So Jacobs out for the first time. It'll bring up Cairo with 2 groundouts. In the American League, the Red Sox continuing to lead the Yankees 2-1 in the bottom of the 6th. But the game that's really surprising, the White Sox playing in Cleveland, leading 1-0 in the bottom of the 6th. Mark Burley, the White Sox pitcher, but the White Sox are not playing too many frontliners. It's the day after game. A day after you clinch, it's generally a spring training lineup.
Well, Cleveland drove the White Sox so crazy, you think they want to stamp them out now.
There's where things stand with 3 teams playing for 2 spots. And there's still a possibility of there needing to be 2 days of playoffs in the American League, which is hard to believe. Monday and Tuesday. If the Yankees, Red Sox, and Indians all finish with the same record, then the Yankees and Red Sox would play Monday for the division title. The loser would play Cleveland Tuesday for the wild card spot. Something that has never happened in baseball, to have that kind of playoff setup. People in charge of the American League right now are not having fun. They are not having, it's a tough logistics.
Back in 1964, they could have had a 4-way tie.
Barrett takes the ball. So what would they have done? Do you remember, Ralph?
I forgot how I was going to work out.
That would have been, how would they have ever broken a 14 tie?
Cardinals have actually won it on the last day of the season. Phillies blew a big lead that they had. They lost 10 in a row. Cincinnati was involved in that. And the Mets were involved in a strange way. They beat the Cardinals 1-0 in the first game of the Friday game. Al Jackson won that. They beat Gibson, and then they won the second game and had a lead in the third and lost that. And Gibson came back and relieved in that third game, the last game of the season.
David Cortez in the Colorado bullpen. That's a great story for Met history because it really highlights the game again. Gibson got beat 1-0 Friday night by Al Jackson, came back and pitched in relief Sunday.
They came back and relieved and won.
Benson puts down a bunt. Helton, a Gold Glover, he'll instead go to first base with it, but he was aggressive in charging that.
And a reminder, New Jersey Devils tickets are on sale. If you act now, you'll get 10% off the best seats in the house. Purchase tickets, log on to NewJerseyDevils.com or call Ticketmaster at 201-507-8900.
Bob Apodaca out to talk to BK Kim with Reyes up there. Kim has thrown well past 100 pitches. 116 right now is his number as we have 2 out in the 6th inning. He's handled Reyes tonight. Cairo at second with an insurance run, 2 down.
And again, the outfield very shallow.
And Reyes hits one that Helton plays nicely, but they'll race to the bag, and Reyes beats everybody.
Kim didn't go over there, and there's no way that Helton could beat Reyes to the bag.
Well, that's it. You hit it right in the nose. Well, watch Kim. He doesn't get off the mound right away. And like you said, Ralph, there's no way in Helton that Kim is going to beat Reyes to first base. Take a look at it again. He smells a hit, and he gets it.
Well, when he runs like a great sprinter, straight up.
You know, I talked to him today, and we reminisced about how they talked to him about changing his running pattern last year. He hurt his back. It's hard to do. Change how you run. Here comes Clint Turtle.
So with Marlon Anderson, who has singled and homered up Kim tonight, they're going to go to the bullpen. That sign indicates he has a lefty out there, and he does. Didn't see him. He snuck up there on us. How about that? It's going to be Randall Williams coming on to pitch to Marlon Anderson. And this call to the bullpen is sponsored by Levitra of Ardenafil HCL. Learn about Levitra. Visit msg.levitra.com for tips to help you talk to your doctor.
New York Mets Foundation is pleased to join former player Todd Zeile in a special fundraising event to benefit the victims of Hurricane Katrina. The event features the New York premiere of the movie Dirty Deeds, the first film to be produced by Todd's film production company, and a post-premiere reception. Celebrities expected to attend include Zeile, David Wright, Cliff Floyd, and more. Tickets are $2 each. Tickets are $200 each. For more information, please call 718-559-3154.
So lefty Randy Williams, who just turned 30 years of age in his rookie season. And he's facing Victor Diaz, who's pinch hitting for Marlon Anderson. So Willie Randolph counters. It's Diaz up against the left-hander. Diaz doesn't have a remarkably great record against lefties. It's almost the same batting average, 264 against lefties, 1 home run and 53 at-bats. And if Diaz keeps it going, Beltran will hit. First and third, 2 outs. Reyes holding his ground, and I wonder if that's to keep the hole open for Diaz, who loves to hit the ball to the right side.
I would doubt very much if Reyes would be running that they'd throw through.
Remember, the reason the Rockies catch Danny Ardois against the Mets is because of the running game. Ardois throws well. And you got a lefty here who's bringing the ball to the plate pretty quickly. 2-2. Of course, it hasn't been too much that slowed Reyes down this year. Reyes had 59 steals, which is 3 better than Pierre for the National League lead.
He has been thrown out 14 times.
And he's 1 ahead of Sean Figgins and Scott Besedwick. They're at 58, leading the American League. And Diaz rolls one to the middle. That'll be the 3rd out. So the Mets don't score. We'll go to the 7th at Shea. 3-2 New York. 3-1 now in the 6th inning over the Yankees. Greg Buttle will be in to talk Jets in the studio, and of course a preview of the weekend pro football action. All Sports Desk tonight, 10:30 on MSG. So Victor Diaz stays in right field as we go to the 7th. Garrett Atkins leading off for Colorado. Atkins with the ground out, and then a sharp ball off the glove of Cairo for a hit in the 4th inning. And this one off the end of the bat is. Atkins has hit a bullet off Cairo's glove, and there it's to flare off the end of the bat for a leadoff single, the 5th Colorado hit.
So the time runners at first base with no one out.
And left-handed batting Brad Hawk at the plate. Or if you can imagine what this must mean for Benson. He was at 9 wins in the middle of August, probably thinking he was going to get a career high in wins this year. And here he is on the eve of October, still at 9. Chance if he can be stout here in the 7th inning, probably turn the game over to the bullpen and get that 10th win.
Runner at first base. Atkins very short lead at first base. He's got about a 3-step lead.
Center, Beltran back, and there's one away. Benson has gone 8 starts without a win twice in his career in Pittsburgh. That's what he's trying to avoid tonight. Remember, we talked earlier in the year, he ditched his curveball. Talking with Rick Peterson, they got rid of the curveball, simplifying his repertoire, and as a result, his strikeout rate has dropped. It's the lowest of his career. And it's been evidenced again tonight. Tom Glavine struck out 11 Rockies last night. Benson has struck out 2 tonight.
He's really a 2-pitch pitcher. Fastball, curve. Actually, fastball, slider.
Right. The story behind the ditching the curveball was that Benson threw it with a different grip and a different wrist angle than the rest of his pitches. Mets felt simplifying it would help him. Gets the tap back to the mound here by Gonzalez. So the tying run is now at second with 2 down. And Danny Ardoin will bat. Red Sox have now opened up a 5-1 lead off Ching-Ming Wang in the 6th inning at Fenway, so that has a chance to make the weekend a little more intriguing. And the White Sox are still leading Cleveland 1-0 in the 7th. Of course, that would leave Cleveland as the team out tonight if those results stand up.
The folks here at Shea responding to that score that was posted on the scoreboard. Boston on top of New York 5-1.
Just put those Red Sox runs up there. No response there. Atkins at second, 2 out.
Again, he has a short lead. Mets outfield is shallow in left and center, and Diaz in right field is pretty deep.
Breaking ball 1-1. They have first base open and the pitcher spot on deck. This would be a spot where the Mets would go right at Ardoin, the hitter on deck. Todd Green, a pinch hitter. So a catcher, but probably a more accomplished hitter than Ardoin. So we're right at him. And Scott Doman now warming up. Is there, so Benson does pitch that 7th inning and maintains the Mets 3-2 lead.
This weekend, and the Rangers made a move. Hope to see you then.
New York Mets baseball brought to you in part by your local tri-state quality Ford store with the best-selling vehicles on the planet. By Aflac, ask about it at work. And by Hyundai, with quality that lets them offer America's best warranty, 10 years, 100,000 miles. Bottom 7 at Shea with the Mets up 3-2, and Beltran to start the inning against the lefty Randy Williams. Hitting .310, right-handed this year, but with very little power. Has only 2 home runs in 129 at-bats.
Overall, he has 16 home runs.
There you see the difference. Much higher average rating, much more power. Although certainly not the power that was anticipated, but still more power left in.
Yeah, 78 RBIs. And a 268 batting average. His batting average lifetime is right around that mark.
And Beltran with a pop-up that Farmas will take. So there's one down, and Floyd will hit. Floyd robbed of an extra base hit. Corey Sullivan And the .396 mark in deep right center, leaping up against the wall to take a Floyd drive away in the 5th inning.
Cliff Floyd, Ralph looked good against right-handers and left-handers again this year, having a career season.
He hangs in there against the left-hand pitchers.
And the big thing is he played on a consistent basis, stayed away from injuries. First time Joey Levitt hit a foul home run. Didn't like it, but there's the game winner, Ralph. You don't see that very often.
Foul home run, followed by a fair home run.
That was a tremendous night here against the Angels. Anderson hit the inside the park home run to tie the game. Angels took the lead in the 10th, and Floyd won it in the bottom half. 2 out now as Cliff is hitless for the night, and David Wright will bat. David Wright with an infield hit tonight and a walk. And this is a matchup where he has excelled. David Wright, 5th best batting average in the league this year against left-hand pitching, .339. Remember, Ralph, when the Mets couldn't find a third baseman? For how many years of the history of this franchise?
Years and years and years.
And if he goes on, he might go down as the greatest third baseman in the history of New York, maybe?
Let's say Howard Johnson would be the #1 candidate right now.
I'm talking about
There's a liner caught by Helton, so the inning goes quickly, and we'll go to the 8th with the Mets still up a run. Mets baseball on FSN New York, presented by Subway as we go to the 8th. Chris Benson's still out there. And a big wild swing from Todd Green, veteran catcher who's pinch hitting.
By the way, we were talking about David Wright and talking about what he's going to try to improve upon. He told me he wants to steal more bases next year. And I said, throughout the interview, you mentioned speed. He said, well, Howard Johnson stole 30 bases. He was in the 30-30 club, and David Wright, who loves Hojo, would like to get in a 30-30 club. Hojo did it 2 or 3 times.
Hojo was an outstanding third baseman for the Mets.
I thought he was really underrated because he played with the team with all kinds of personalities, and, you know, he was laid back, quiet.
First third baseman for the Mets was Don Zimmer.
Best third baseman in the history of New York baseball, would it be Red Rolfe?
He goes back before your time.
I know, but his numbers.
They had several outstanding ones there. How about Jumpin' Joe Dugan? Whatever happened to the nicknames?
I know it, huh? Jumpin' Joe Dugan scouted me when I was in prep school. He roomed with the Babe, didn't he?
Nobody roomed with the Babe. He was never in his room. A guy named Jimmy Reese actually roomed with the Babe one time. Jimmy was one of the great, if not the greatest, fungal hitters of all time.
He was very close to Nolan Ryan.
And Ryan named one of his sons after Jimmy. He was a coach for me at San Diego when I had the team there, and also was my manager. A wonderful guy.
Coaching.
Green drives this to left center. Beltran back. So for that bat for Todd Green ends up being a long out. As the Rockies bullpen features Mike DeJean, who started the year with the Mets, and again giving proof to the incredible erratic nature of relief pitching. Mike DeJean has been terrific since he got back to Denver, of all places. But a whole different pitcher.
Well, he was there at one time before.
Yep. Sullivan rips a base hit. So with one out, Sullivan on. Benson is trying to finish the 8th inning for only the 3rd time this year.
Take a look at that replay. Ball hit hard in the right field.
And then I think Willie Randolph saw the location of that pitch and said, okay, that's it. 103 pitches. Benson done. Heilman in. And Benson will hope that the bullpen can get him that elusive 10th win.
Take a look at that OTB finishing line. It's all about Chris Benson. And he leaves the game, Ralph, with those numbers.
Gave up 6 hits, 2 home runs, and they came on a 2-run home run. And the time run is at first base, his responsibility. Chris pondering his pitching here.
So Aaron Heilman makes his 53rd appearance of the year back in April in the cold weather of Shea. He was a starting pitcher and threw an amazing 1-hitter against the Florida Marlins. And doing something that has been done, but it's not frequent, comes back in the very same season. Becomes a closer. He's got 4 saves. They get a chance tonight to do what he did in Philadelphia the other night, which is get a 2-inning save. That's had him back-to-back from Hernandez and Heilman. Runner goes. So hit and run, and Clint Barmas fouls it.
Well, the fastball fouled off on the hit and run play.
Well, August 17th, this was his first save against Pittsburgh.
Willie still thinks of him as a setup man, even now.
Well, he has changed his delivery. He's dropped down, and they liken it to Don Drysdale's throwing position. Kind of a sidearm, half sidearm, half overarm pitch. But he does step at the hitter, the right-hand batter. It's got to be hard to pick up.
You think of the guys around, like there's a double play ball. What we'll think about that next inning. Nice turn by Cairo. Nice turn. Quickly done by Cairo to get the double play and get the Mets off the field. Started standing earlier in the game, and each subsequent at-bat, more of the crowd here has been standing for Piazza. Facing righty Scott Dolman.
Well, Piazza, of course, started his career in Major League Baseball with the Dodgers. And when he was traded away, he took out a half-page ad in the LA Times, thanking the fans. And now here in New York, in the papers, he is being thanked by the fans. And also in the stands and around. Interesting career. He wasn't really drafted, and they had to beg to get drafted into Major League Baseball. Tom Lasorda had a lot to do with that. They came from the same area in New Jersey. Lasorda, of course, not his godfather, was written that way, but very, very close to Mike.
1-2 from the right-hander. Piazza stays alive.
Broke his bat right there, so Mike Piazza's going to need another bat, and those are the numbers. 31 games, opponents hitting .273.
Piazza will, he's got to get another bat. Mike's going to leave on Monday to go off. And he's going to broadcast next week. He's going to work alongside former pitcher Rick Sutcliffe, and our colleague, I believe, Dave O'Brien will be there as well. They're going to work covering the National League Division Series. That's looking forward to that. Two.
Mike did play about 7 games for Florida before coming to the Mets, and he was traded by the Dodgers to Florida.
Think they'll retire his number? Florida?
I don't think so.
How about the Mets?
Got a good chance for being on the Mets retired number list.
Foul back. That's what Mike would love, fastball.
And this is a fastball. He hits the ball to right center field. And they saved him that way. And the defense right here is at bat. Left fielder is awfully shallow.
And we got another fastball there, but popped it up. Second baseman Gonzalez back, and there's one down. So Mike 0 for 4 tonight. So you wonder if he'll catch the ninth inning. We'll see. As there's the update. Derek Lee, with a sacrifice fly, has tied the Cubs with Houston. The Phillies with the lead, and also a side light, although substantial one. Jimmy Rollins got a hit in that game. 34 in a row now, his hit streak.
Where would the Phillies be without Ryan Howard? Unbelievable. He comes out of the minor leagues, and he becomes a dominant player with the Phillies.
And certainly a candidate for the Rookie of the Year honors.
To 21 home runs. In fact, talking to David right before the game about Philadelphia, hitting in Philly. He said Ryan Howard next year might hit 50.
Ooh, there's a splintered bat. We've seen a lot of those these last 2 nights. Atkins with the catch and foul ground. Puts Jacobs down.
Wood is flying all over the place. Look at this.
Well, the winter might be a cold winter. They got a lot of wood for it.
More bats break today, Ralph, than ever before because of those real thin handles and their light bats.
Very light, and they have used different types of wood, maple as well as ash.
So with 2 down now, it'll be Miguel Cairo. One other just quick note from baseball tonight. The game itself has no significance, but it's the final weekend ever at Busch Stadium in St. Louis.
New ballpark there next year.
And tonight at that game, Mark McGwire made his first public appearance since March when he testified before the Congressional Committee. So he actually did go to St. Louis. There was questions, or I guess there are a lot of questions whether he would show up. He did. He spoke briefly in St. Louis tonight before the game and said he will not ever speak about the steroid issue again.
And of course, he is suspect. Came to the major leagues weighing about 195. And when he left the major leagues by his own volition, he weighed about 260.
He's a big fella. Remember I did an interview with Mark McGwire and yourself, Ralph?
I sure do.
Well, there's a nice play by Helton, crossing into foul ground, holding the bag, getting the throw from Farmas. So we'll go to the ninth. The Mets trying to close it out. Heilman in search of the 5th save, and little different way of doing it. Multiple innings, although it only needed 2 pitches. Heilman did in the 8th inning to get a double play ball. Now facing Todd Helton.
Starts Hilton off with a changeup. Pitch he acquired this year. That's really helped him. Hilton, of course, is a very dangerous hitter.
Well, Aaron Heilman, we talked about him before, about coming out of that bullpen. He has the ability to be a closer. It's going to be interesting to see what the Mets opt to do with him next year, because he certainly has the ability to be a starter.
Hits one high, but to the right place for the Mets. Beltran, one away. Matt Holliday will bat. Holliday providing the Rockies offense tonight with a 2-run homer in the 4th. His 19th of the year, gives him 32 runs batted in the month of September.
But the White Sox and the Indians, they're in the 9th inning in a 1-0 ball game.
And there's only 2 regular players in the White Sox starting lineup tonight. Only 2 of their 9 regulars, and they've got that 1-0 lead.
Hard to win the game after you celebrate the championship.
You'll be relaxed.
So again, if the scores in the American League hold up, Red Sox up 5-3, bottom 7. White Sox 1-0, top 9. The Indians are the team out. The Indians are a game back of both teams in the East. Comebacker to Heilman. So 2 down. Garrett Atkins coming up. I want to take a moment here to say something to you, Mr. Kiner, that our last time together, that you know how many millions of Met fans would have killed for this opportunity that I've had to grow up listening to you and just have a chance to sit next to you for a few years. It's been magnificent.
Well, thank you very, very much. And this will be the last game of this year.
Ralph,
and it's been great working with you, and I could even possibly say that with Fran.
Don't start, Ralph. We got to go to dinner after the game.
Well,
Ralph, it's always been a delight for me. Whether we're on the air or off the air for 22 years, I worked with 2 of the greatest ever in New York history. You and Phil Rizzuto, 2 class acts.
Well, that's a real compliment, and I appreciate that. And I want to thank the fans for putting up with me for, I guess it's now 45 years.
And we want to thank you for allowing us to use your broadcast booth, the Ralph Kiner broadcast
That's exactly
booth.
right. And our entire crew, I know, echoes all those thoughts. All the men and women who helped bring Mets baseball all season long, the folks in the tri-state area. The best part about working with you, Ralph, is find out you're a better guy than you are a broadcaster.
Okay. You can say that easily.
Right field, Diaz puts it away. The Mets win it. Heilman gets the save. The Mets, with the victory, guarantee themselves a winning season. That's 82. And Aaron Heilman continues to make a strong September statement. 5 outs with no sweat and his 5th save. Well, Willie Randolph has had his team do precisely what he hoped. Night in, night out here down the stretch. If Pedro wears that tomorrow night, I don't know. It's going to be a problem. But the Mets have responded. 11 wins in their last 14 games. And the players celebrating, that's number 82, which assures them a winning finish to the season. 3-2 tonight over Colorado in game 2 of the series. Jacobs with a homer, Marlon Anderson with a homer, and we've come back. We've got a lot more, including post-game action coming up from Shea.